Woot woot.
Hello, everyone!
Ah! That's my hello.
And a little dancing bee is gonna be up there.
Dancing bee.
I,
It's
I,
very.
cause I have my Tetsu, but I use her a lot, so I'm like, you know what? We're gonna get the little cutie fly.
it's a good cutie fly. It's doing its best.
I think it's great because it's not even my favorite Pokemon, but I just love this gift so goddamn much.
It's a cute gift.
It's he dances to everything. It's also why I like the angry noises moth, because whenever I listen to like my retro wave stuff, it just somehow I don't know how, but it always like times up with it. So it's like he's dancing, he's angry dancing to the music.
Beautiful.
Also, hi guys. No links to a Discord. No, I do not have a public server. I'm sorry, it's too stressful for me. I do have a server for my higher tier patrons though.
And me.
Yes. Well, you're technically a mod. Like, do you like you kind of count?
Quote unquote mod. But
Yeah.
yes. You are correct. I mean, technically, it wasn't just me. I'm just the only one that's like remained active in there.
Yeah.
So, but uh it's a bunch of patrons and
Yeah,
me.
and him. He has a public server, however. I just don't, and I hate to say it, but I know friends who've had public servers that get so hectic, and I personally feel like a lot of them, like if you guys are a part of Zodiac's public server, I pop in like once in a hot blue moon, say 5 seconds of a thing, and then leave because I get really intimidated. I get really anxious. I know it's stupid, but I feel like that's why like even in my Patreon one, I'm not as active, but I'm more active in it because it's a smaller group of people.
Yeah, well, that's how I felt with different. I don't want to call it out because I don't want like anyone to think I'm saying anything bad about it. But there's another server I joined where it was like at first I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna be super active in this, and now it's like I have to remind myself, hey, you should post in there so you can like with some more people outside of your circle. And I'm like, fuck, because it's just like it started much small. Oh, hello, sirens. But like it started much small, and then it got like bigger. So it got to a point where it was like like it was a bit too busy, and then it's like you feel weird because it's like you miss a bunch of conversation, then you go back and you feel like you're behind on anything and you
Uh
don't know
huh.
if you're on or not. It's just like the endless cycle of like what the fuck do I do?
Mhm. And that's just like it's a personal thing and it's hard to get past. Plus, I'm really busy and he's really busy, so it's also like we don't have a lot of time to just like spend hours in a chat room. Not there's anything against that. It's just I feel bad if it's like, oh, here's my server and I'm not even active in it. Besides, like,
Feel like I should put a thing in my like status bar now that Discord's done that, where I like say if like you want to talk to me, just at me, because like I'm fine to talk to people. I just usually am not like super automatically engaged in a bunch of conversations and stuff like that.
well,
So
something
it's like
I'm very bad at. Like, I'm a very talkative person. When I have something to talk about, when I'm just like meh, I feel bad starting conversations because I'm like, I don't know what to fucking talk about. Do you have something to talk about?
that's how I feel. All right, listen, I am the worst at that. Uh, I have noticed though, like like going to the school and all that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I had this like epiphany the other night where it was like it's just like that thing that you just kind of like self-reflection and you're like, wow, I feel really good about myself all of a sudden. And it's because like I realized, like I had this realization that I've kind of become that person in a group of friends who's like, the funny one kind of a thing,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like I can be pretty calm and like whatever and just make jokes like off the fly or whatever, which is wild because I remember being like in middle school being like, oh, I wish I could do that, and always being envious of like the funny one in friend group.
Me! I know
And
that
now,
feeling. I was the quiet one. I'm just like, I'll just be quiet and I won't
yeah,
speak my
well, because I
mind.
was like never that clever. All of the jokes I thought of came up like after it had happened, and I also like blame it on the fact that I was like too worried about filters and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like But then like now I'm sitting here and it's like we're fucking like cracking jokes at lunch, like, and I'm like that feeling of being able to make someone like laugh their ass off is just delightful. So it's uh
Stop eating your asshole, Binks.
and it's like
That's right, just lick. Don't eat. Sorry.
but and so it's like I was like sitting there, I'm just like, wow, I really have become that thing that my middle school self would have wanted. Wow.
Be the person that the middle school you wanted to be.
Sometimes, not all the time. I
Uh,
mean, if we're honest here, younger me had some very odd dreams for myself that have changed drastically over the years. So, you know.
I mean, it's, to me, I think it's still funny. It's not like it's not funny, but it is. It's like, you know, back when I was a girl, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was a thing.
Listen, it was very odd time.
No, I
Psychology. Well, it's like I always have to explain that because then, like, if I just start saying it, it comes off weird because
yeah.
it's like, you know, it's just like you don't quite understand like what I mean unless I give the context.
Exactly.
Because if I just start saying it, you're either gonna get the impression that like I thought I was a boy at that point, or you don't know, like, or you think I was like I am a girl, and so it's like either way, it's like a double-edged sword of death. So it's like
It's, oh, you're a whammon? I am not. What?
no, child me was a whammon.
I know. Sorry,
Yeah.
guy. God, I just think that's so funny. Ever since, I'm not even a PewDiePie fan. I don't hate him. I'm just not a fan. But I watched a video of his randomly where he's like, "We can't talk bad about the whammon," and I was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna start using that now."
Like just pronouncing words intentionally wrong just gives me like at all times.
Oh, we got a couple questions. So,
Yeah.
one was, my friend liked the vinyl stickers. Thank you very much. I'm happy that they do. They're also back in the store because I just took them down because I wanted to make sure I didn't run out of pre-orders. But if people want to buy the glorified tabletop roleplay stickers, they're back in the store. You can get them. You just won't get the pre-order bonus stuff that I threw in with the other ones. But yeah. But the actual question was, are we excited for Frozen 2? Because I'm actually excited. Because I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Oh boy, I listen, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I don't fucking know what's going on at any point in time either.
I love the like, oh, Frozen, this cute little Disney musical, Frozen 2. Oh, what?
What's so bizarre is that I was like when I was watching that trailer, I was like so into it because that actually looked like a really like cool mystical fantasy story kind of thing. Then fucking Olaf showed up on screen. I'm like, oh, right, this is Frozen.
Right? Oh my god, that's exactly how I felt. Like, he seems...
Like, I feel bad, but my illusion was shattered at that
So
moment.
was mine! Because what's so funny is in, like, the first trailer, the, like, teaser trailer, he's in, like, one tiny scene and he doesn't talk, and it took me a minute. I'm like, oh yeah, Olaf. Like, I totally forgot he was a thing. And then I saw the trailer, and I was like, oh man, we're gonna get into this? The mom is gonna talk? What?
Wow.
And then we got Olaf, and I'm like, oh right, that's a thing.
Cool,
That's
'cause
right.
both like expanding more into that like mythology kind of stuff, which is cool. It's like going into like there's gonna be more explanation about the magic as opposed to just she was born magic. Shrugs.
That
You
made
know?
me so angry, and I liked Frozen, but I remember when it's like, was she cursed or born? Born with it. Okay. Wait, what? Like, we're not gonna question that? Like, 'cause
Yeah, just listen, don't fucking worry about it, alright? Like,
I will admit though, I hate and love Olaf's song just because the fucking part with the puddle actually caught me off guard. And I remember, and I think it's also where I was when I first saw the movie, because I hate that song. But when that part happened, Cody and I bust a tit laughing. Like in the theater full of all these kids, I was sick off my ass. That happened, and I don't know why I just fucking lost it.
I just I like
They didn't confirm Elsa's gay. You would see a lot more stuff about that if they did. But Adina Menzel said she's like, I'm down for Elsa to have a girlfriend. So Disney,
I'm fucking down for Elsa to girlfriend.
I would too. My only issue is they can't force it. I don't want them to force it. They made such a big deal in the first one about, instant love and all that stuff.
Oh,
So,
that's exactly how I feel.
so
Like I just don't want them to go like immediately backwards on their entire lesson there.
oh, exactly.
About, like,
I don't want it to be like, here's a sexy fire woman and Elsa's like, lesbian. Because that just doesn't seem like her character. Like, I would rather it be like a natural thing.
Yeah, it's like and it does seem, based on the trailer, it does seem like the movie is far more centered on like Elsa's self-discovery as opposed to like, because first movie was a little bit more focused on her getting over her fucking issues,
Yeah.
and then now it's about her growing as a character even further, which is really cool, especially because the first one was a lot more, it did feel a lot more focused on Anna when, like Elsa was the one with the more issues.
Well, for me, I kind of wish that they went with the whole fact that she was gonna be a villain. Because originally, she was gonna be a villain. Like hardcore, we were gonna, like, watch the making of a villain, and then Anna would have to save her, kind of like a thing like that. I do like where they went with it, but my only issue was, I loved the Let It Go song, but I mean, Everywhere kind of killed it for me, because I heard it literally everywhere.
I absolutely destroyed it.
Like, I loved it. I was so inspired by it, and the fact that I would hear it every day at work, every day in my college classes, on the radio, I was like, I can't escape it. I liked this song, and it's in my dreams, and I can't stand it anymore. But my issue was the whole, like, oh, it's so great. I'm myself. Fuck all my issues. This is great. 2 seconds later, oh, I didn't get over my issues. Okay.
Of course.
But
it's like, yeah, it's like, and I mean, and somebody like even said, I'd rather prefer it if she was single. I like I don't want, like, I want it to show that you can grow without needing a love interest. I fully agree, Kai, which is, or like, is that Kai? I'm sorry,
Kai,
no,
Call? Is it Call?
Cal. It's Cal. I read it. I don't have my glasses, so the tiny text looked like an eye. But like, I fully agree with that. My thing is that, like, I think, like, the best way it could be written, in my opinion, would be that, like, she grows as a character, she has that arc, and then she can fall in love. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Like, as opposed to the entire, because I also don't really love the moral of, like, in order to grow as a person, you need to be in a relationship.
Oh,
you know
yeah, especially when I loved the twist at the end of Frozen. I mean, spoiler for a movie that came out years ago that's, mainstream.
It's so fucking predictable. If you're over the age of 13 and you don't see it coming, I'm surprised.
Exactly, but I liked that it was, like, it was family love. And then the internet had to make it into incest, and I'm like, ew.
I know. Internet, why?
I was like, it was about love. Familiar love. Not incest! It's kind of like, it's like, I feel bad, because there's some art I've seen where I'm like, God, that's really good art, but why are you making Thor bone Loki? Well, they're adopted. I don't care!
Oh, God.
Cease.
The internet is a cursed place. I'm sorry.
People forget there's different types of love. Oh, God, okay, so speaking of different types of love, this is actually pretty important, because this actually made me upset. Obviously, it doesn't need a whole fucking topic video or anything, but there's this artist I follow, and her name is Double Maximus, and she's on Twitter. She does a lot of, like, not safe for work stuff and pinup stuff, but she has a very sweet comic called Gwendy and Ghost, and there was a recent update where it had Gwendy, as a little kid, give Ghost, a literal ghost, a really cute little kid kiss, and I was like, oh, that's adorable, but the internet took it as, oh, they're gonna fall in love when she gets older, and she was like, you can have non-sexual kisses The fuck? And then it's like, I think back, like, when I was a little kid, yeah, I kissed my parents and brothers on the lips. Didn't make out with them, but when I was really little, that was just a thing we kind of fucking did.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's a sad thing, is if you draw that now, people are like, oh, it's the dreaded P word that YouTube does not like.
It's like it's so people jump so quickly to like people show any kind of affection for each other. It must be romance. And I do kind of blame that a little bit on the fact that a lot of stories that I'm sure a lot of us grew up with kind of gave that vibe off, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And it's like almost the vibe of like if you're not like related by blood, if you show affection to somebody that's like physical in any way, and unless you're a girl, in which case you can touch each other all you want and it's not gay. Anyway, but like, you know, that it's obviously romantic, which is not like true at all, and it's kind of sad that now it's like reversed back in on itself to where it's like they looked at each other for longer than 30 seconds across the room.
Right? Oh my god!
It must be love.
Oh my god, she blushed. It's meant to be!
Blush only ever has sexual connotations to it. It never means embarrassment or anything like that. What are you talking about?
Embarrassment or shame.
Never. Never, ever.
Ooh, what's this?
It's always romantic at all times.
And it's sad, because it's like, I don't know, again, I grew up in a very loving, openly affectionate family. So, like, that stuff is in my stories. Doesn't mean they're gonna fuck. Like, I don't know. I mean, I remember I was telling somebody once how when I was a little kid, my mom would shower with us. Like, we would just shower together. It was the thing we did. And people are like, the fuck? You showered with your mom? I'm like, yeah, when I was little. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And they're like, but isn't that weird? I'm like, how's it weird? It was a shower.
It was my mother taking care of me and saving water. Anyway, but you know.
Oh, like, that's another thing. I say, like, I love you to people all the time, and I mean it. Like, I love you, Morgan. Doesn't mean I'm gonna fuck you.
Oh, I love you too, Mitchie.
You know, it's like, I love my friends, I love my family, and I like saying that, and Cody's the same way. And it's like, but people hear that and they're like, what? But you're with someone. I'm like, so you don't love your family? You don't love your friends?
But Bree says she loves you too.
Good. I love you too, Bree. Smetches.
Meech.
The ship has sailed.
People's ship has sailed. Bree X Michelle is now canon, clearly.
Yeah, exactly, Leah. Like, same. And I mean, same thing with my brothers. When I was young and my brothers were little and I had to babysit them, I would take showers with them too. But obviously, when I was like 13, that shit didn't fly and that shit didn't happen. Like,
I'm sorry. I remember a fucking joke or whatever because somebody was making like a snarky ass post about how, like, honestly, anyone over the age of 18, like there's no reason, absolutely no reason for an adult to like need to talk to someone under the age of 18 or something like that. And they could not prepare it well because then someone responded by making a joke of like, just like, sorry students, but this will be the last time I can talk to you because I'm not allowed to. And then it's like, oh, I really, like, my son just said they're his first word, but I'm really just trying to not hear that right now. And it's like, I would tell those kids to get off my lawn, but the world isn't ready. I think my favorite one, because it's so fucked up, is like a kid on the phone. It's just like, hello, 911? My house is on fire and my parents are inside. Kid, I'm sorry, you sound a little young. So I'm
are you 18 are you 18 plus? We need your social security number and your birth date as confirmation.
Yeah. It was so stupid, but I love it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you guys have any more questions or topics, or you want?
Yeah, I gotta go, like, not in 30 minutes, but I don't want to, like, because it starts at 6:30, so in about an hour.
Oh no,
So,
I
like,
gotcha.
yeah.
Are you gonna noom back to your school, or is it like you gonna do it from
Oh
home?
yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna mute back to my school, but it's not that far.
Okay. You want to tell the people what you're gonna be working on?
I'm doing a game jam. We're gonna suffer. And it surprises me a lot that, like, so many people I've told that to are like, "What the fuck's a game jam?"
I mean, that was me. I didn't know what it
But, like,
was.
there's so many YouTubers though that play games and they open it up with like, "Oh, this game was made during a game jam." So I thought that like everyone knew what that was. So I was like there was it was like I was like in the Twilight Zone or something like that. Cuz I was like it's just like what? Do people just not watch people play like game jam games? Like do people not do that? Like I was playing a game with Grace the other day. You weren't there for it. But it was like the one Chuk and Sasag game. And one of the games in that series was made during a game jam. You know what I mean?
Uh huh.
So it's like there's tons of them. Um, like so I was just really startled that like so many people didn't know what the fuck a game jam was. Oh, of course, and everyone's like, "What the fuck is a game jam?"
See, told you.
Listen, it's you try to make a game in an unreasonably short amount of time, and you suffer. That's what happened. I gotta say it's like it's so wild now being in a school where it's like we're all adults and everyone recognizes we're adults. So it's like, you're not gonna get like kicked out or suspended for saying a bad word. So it's like earlier today
I remember. No,
when
I know where you're going because I remember the first time when I was in college and my teacher like stubbed his toe and was like, "Fuck," and I was like, "Oh,
yeah, well it was like
that's
because
right."
earlier it was like it was like earlier that today my teacher was like explaining something because he was reviewing our projects at the time, and it was like he was explaining something and he pulled up a picture and you look up and it's a picture. It's like one of those like drawing tutorials where it's like how to draw an owl. Step 1, draw 2 circles. Step 2, draw the rest of the fucking owl. And it was like and that's like he put it up there. He was like, "Oh no, teacher said a bad word," like, or like teacher put a bad word on screen or something like that. It was really funny. And then it's like it just makes me keep remembering how uh, I was at a game night a
Mhm.
while back for the school, and there's this one lady at the school who works there who she knows like jack shit about like games or movie references. Like she is not a nerd or in that nerd culture at all. She's just like that supportive mom who has like no idea what's going on, but is like, "Yeah, you go, sweeties," you know. And it's like, so she takes care of like attendance and all of that kind of thing to it,
Ah, Binks, come here.
and
Sorry, he started meowing.
uh, um, and um, but we were playing Uno together, and I just remember sitting there, and it's like she's just like this sweet, and I mean she can be a stern lady too, but she's the kind of lady like you would never imagine, like you could never picture her saying fuck. But we were playing like Uno, and at some point she's just I don't even remember what she fucking said, but she just said fuck out of nowhere, and I was like, she can say fuck, like wow, and my life was forever changed.
Oh, let's see.
It's like we're in the big leagues now, everybody. We're now at the point where it's like no longer where everybody's either a year or like 1 year older and in your grade. You're in a room where there's 18-year-olds along with like 26-year-olds. So
Mm-hmm.
here we are.
Now,
Yeah.
uh, people like the thumbnail. Do you want to explain why it's bats?
My God.
Because you did it.
Okay, sure then. So we decided to cave because we kept talking about it for a while that like there was a different kind of role play we wanted to start doing with like different, I say different characters for me specifically. And we kept talking about it, but we're like, we can't do that because if we start a new role play, there's a very strong chance we never go back to the one we already have going.
Yeah, which is, if you guys don't know, is Crackland, which we've been doing for almost, well, I shouldn't say almost, it's been like 2 years now, right?
Been 2 years.
Yeah.
Actually coming up on 3.
Right? Oh,
Yeah,
God.
it's coming up on 3. Like, I think, yeah, it's around
Yeah!
Christmas.
Right on Christmas time.
Yeah, so it's about 3 years. And, so but we talked about it forever and we finally caved. So I made us a server and we're like, okay, we use the DMs for the one thing and we use the server for the other thing. So like we've kept them both going and it's pretty great. But like we have one of the plots we have in there is where her very terrifying eldritch vampire monster guy has now arrived in my world with my tiny fluffy little vampire bat people. And it's like and it's really fucking cute and they're cute, very friendly, clingy vampires.
Yeah, let me get my vampire baby boy. Because the whole thing was that it's like the plot for this chaos non-canon adventure is that Morgan's chaos god just decided to yeet some of my characters into the world to just have some fun. And
She was bored.
It was, yeah, they were bored, and because I actually don't know what gender they are. I think we talked about it. But... What?
It's she's just a chaotic shapeshifter. So
That's right. Okay. But it started all because, again, Morgan has his cute little bat people, and then my world's got these guys. Let me pull him up.
Oh, so sweet, little bat people.
He's a good guy, but he a monster and he go nom, even if he doesn't like to.
Yeah.
And the only reason why he's like sentient and stuff is because he's also like old as dirt. But this is what popped into Morgan's world. Now I need to pull up one of your bats so I can show the difference. And then
pictures now.
Well, I just think people should do it to see the comparison with the dancing bee, because of course.
Oh, of course. The dancing bee is for ambiance.
He want a party.
He do.
Okay. Gotta get to boop, boop, boop. Sorry, guys. I'm just pulling up his thing. And then... Bat. Should be the fastest thing to pop up for it.
The bat noises.
Well, all we got was Hope, but Hope will work for right now.
Yeah, fine.
And then here's what his vampire bat people look like. This is mine.
Except they're not all white. Most of them are brown. But you know.
Yeah, she's special, but they
Hope's just albino. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's special. She's albino.
Yeah, but just imagine that, but like half his size.
Because yeah, so, he's like, actually really tall. They
look like children next to him, and they're fully grown adults. So it's like, it's just an adorable time.
Yeah. By the way, I did not draw my Spoopy Monster Man's bat reference. That was done by my friend Bezzy K here on YouTube. If you want to check out her stuff, she doesn't make YouTube videos often, but she does post to her DA at least once a month. And she has good detailed stuff. Good stuff.
Very good.
Good slurps. But, but yeah, and so currently right now, he had a baby. Not by choice. and now he's got a cute little human wife, a baby, and a bunch of bats he needs to protect.
Yes. As you do. Well, there's a certain person who kind of wants to murder them all, but it's okay.
Just kind of. It's for reasons.
Don't worry about it, okay? Listen, you know you've like reached the peak of your writing talent when you're like simultaneously writing a scene with a guy talking about how his wife and like small child died,
and then
then also writing like a sweet boyfriend who's just like, you can do it, babe, you can
get out of this hole.
You can do it. You're so smart and talented.
Our two writer brains at work. How does one hug scary Batman? You just ask him.
You hug.
At the point where he actually shows up in Marked, I mean, he still looks the way he does, but he's very gentlemanly and sophisticated and sweet. He just has it's more so because I've always loved when writing just in general. I always loved the idea of like sentient creatures that are monsters, especially if they've lived a long time and they've like learned things that it's one of those things, and it's not like gentrification or anything, because people are trying to like debate that. They're like, oh, so you're okay with people like losing their culture and their history? And I'm like, no, what? Like, where'd you get that? Because full on, like I once told somebody like Eric's story of how he and them like oh shit, hello, am I still here, guys? Okay, can you guys still hear me? The fuck? Discord just died. Hold on. That's so fucking weird. Hold on, I'm coming. I literally don't know why. Like, it said that like my internet was gone, but my OBS is still here, so it's Discord. Hold on. Hey, so OBS just died. I mean not OBS, Discord. It was Discord, not OBS. I'm still here.
Your chat is still says they can still hear you and stuff.
Yeah, I meant it was Discord. It wasn't OBS.
Yeah, Discord.
Sorry about that.
You seemed fine in the stream, but not. You like left the general chat.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to. I was just like disconnected. And I was like, ah, shit. But no, pretty much what ended up happening was this isn't a spoiler at all, but like vampires in my world originally started out as these eldritch, terrifying monsters, because monsters do exist in this world, but they're also at the same vein a like culture and a not exactly kind of a society, but more of like I'm trying to think of how to word it like properly. I guess you can go along the lines of like they're getting civil. They were slowly evolving to be civilized, and the reason for that is because like in my brain, and that's why I put it in my story, if humans evolved from animals, why didn't other animals evolved in thousands of years? So that was something I always put. And so then with a little help with some people, and like finally someone treating a vampire not like a monster, but like wait, they have
No, it's everyone's being loud outside.
Oh, I don't even hear it.
I do.
Oh, I'm sorry. But as I saw it, it was one of those things where it's like someone like finally took a chance to like get to know them and see like, oh wait, they have like family and friends and young and elderly. So it's like, oh, they're not so different. And so like as time went on, he became more civilized and stuff like that because he had to save his race of people.
Whoops.
And so that's why like newer ones at the point when he shows up look uncanny valley. I can never draw it the way I like perfectly see it with my style, and someday I will. But as I always see it, is they're like slightly off. So like if you met them down the street, you wouldn't think anything of it, but there is something uncanny valley about a vampire person compared to a normal person.
A little bit.
I thought I had a lot of OCs. Hey, don't feel bad. Just realistically, when you end up writing a story, you're gonna have a lot of characters not even thinking about it. Just because you kind of have to.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because it is.
I mean, honestly, if, like you really like if you have stories as opposed to just like mascot characters and things like that, when you really sit down and analyze how many actual when you really start thinking about the side characters and the just kind of one-off world building type characters, you end up with a lot more characters than you realize most of the time.
And it becomes very easy. Another thing too is just with writing in general, I never, when I started Marked years ago in high school, I never thought anything would become of it, and I literally started with like 4 fucking characters. And now here I am now. years later. So I also get people who give me questions like, I want to write a story, but I don't know where to start, and it's like, hey, that's cool. Like, don't freak out about it. Like, just take your time and enjoy it and work on it. It'll come.
Yeah. Someday.
Yeah, someday. See, but I have somewhat of self-control, and I am only working on 2 stories at the same time. We got this bitch over here.
Listen, I'm waiting for my time, okay?
How many are you working on?
Well, I'm working on a lot.
Exactly.
One directly, technically, because I've told myself that, like, I'm not gonna commit to any of them until, like, I know what the fuck I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to soil one of the stories by not knowing what the fuck I'm doing. But yes, if you want me to name them, I can certainly name them.
Yeah, why don't you name them for the Strom?
Oh boy. So let's see, we got Naturia, which is like my children's cartoon-esque type thing. We got Firebird, which I recently was like redid all the characters for, so that's fun. We got Heaven's Proxies, which is probably the one I'm focusing a lot on right now because I'm working on all that world-buildy type shit. We have Luniverse, which that's the main one that's online that everyone who follows me probably knows about. We have fucking oh, we have 7 Cents and a Baby. I don't know why I forgot. Don't worry, someday I'll get those pages done. When? I don't fucking know. But
At this rate, I do have to say, though, when you do the next pages, your style has changed so drastically.
Listen, that entire chapter has changed in style.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I think is going to be so funny, is just seeing the difference. It's like, oh, wow. You look like adults now.
It's gonna be a wild adventure once I finally fucking do them, you know?
Let's see.
But it's fine.
How,
Everything's fine.
do you have any advice on how I can draw guys without having the same face syndrome? I'm fine with girls, but guys I have issue with. Well, it depends, at least for me, it depends on the type of guy that you're trying to make, because genetically speaking, most men have much harsher features than women do. Unless they're fat, because then they're obviously rounder and softer.
Yeah, well, it's
but,
like that's a testosterone thing, so
yeah.
that's why it's usual. But like, if you really like, I mean, to be frank, if you really just like sit down and just look at guys you know, they can have some pretty wildly different faces. It's just that a lot of artists tend to portray very similar looking features with guys, and I mean the same goes for girls. It just depends on the artist. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
So,
I very much have a generic man face and a generic chick face because
oh, yeah,
I've done so many commissions that I don't know the face type. So
well, it's like there's always you got that, like, that's my automatic female face, that's my automatic man face kind of a thing. But like even then, just with guys, like there's guys with usually like longer faces, maybe like sharper jaw lines. There's guys with like more square looking faces and things like that. There's even guys that do have like kind of rounder faces, not like as round, like not like round in a feminine way, but just generally
softer,
kind of
just
round.
softer.
I mean, like the best advice I could give is just look up pictures of guys, and you'll see it pretty quickly.
Yeah,
So,
and
like,
and look up different types of ethnic people too, like different types of ethnicities, because you will see a lot of features that you would not it's something like I never realized as a kid growing up, and like I live in Southern California. I live in the melting pot of the U.S. pretty much, but it wasn't until I started like taking my art more seriously that I noticed things that I just never noticed before. Besides, obviously, like skin color. But there's things like the way eyebrows are, the way nose shapes are, the way certain features are. Like, you'll learn a lot from just, like, really studying other types of faces. And I also think that it helps, too, to get out of your comfort zone in that sense. Because, like, that's something else I've been working on recently, just in my little downtime I have, is I've been working on, because Morgan has inspired me to work on other parts of my world, because I've always had them, but the main stories never really involved them. I hate to say it, you end up writing what you know, but most of the marked stories, at least the first couple parts, end up taking place in very Eastern European inspired countries, while the world is a world. So there are people and cultures from all over, so you get to experience and learn things, and especially with making fantasy races, you can do really cool melting pots and fusions of things because that's also really fun, and it helps you. It does help you get out of comfort zones. Like another one that it's a very bad habit of mine is I am a goth. I love goth fashion. You have no idea. I mean, Morgan does because I bitch about it all the time. How hard it is for me to not give characters dark clothes because I'll be like, "This will be great." Oh wait, I can't give you dark colors.
Mhm. Yeah,
It's just
that's another thing that like this is something I wanted to talk about because I feel like when a lot of artists address same face syndrome, I feel like they almost always go from it like from an angle like very heavily on that really exaggerative side and not so much the subtle side. You know what I mean? And it's like sometimes they'll brush on it, but they won't really explain that like you don't have to give every single character a dramatically different face shape to make them unique. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Um
yeah. Like some
like
people take the silhouette test to like the extreme.
And it's especially because it depends on the style you're going for. It depends on like what you have in your story. It is a little weird when you have like a bunch of characters with crazy different body types and their faces all look identical. Like that's a fact. And it can be like and also I also think it has a lot to do with other aspects of the characters because for example, let's just be frank here, y'all. My Little Pony's main six characters have pretty much identical face and body shapes. The only variation, other than their hair and their like colors, is like their eyelashes. And then kind of their eye shapes are a little bit different.
But it's
But
really
like
slight.
other than that, like face shape, body type, if you shave their heads and put a light behind them, they're identical.
Mm-hmm.
And but the reason why it doesn't really bother most like it's not like something super like it doesn't feel super like oh they're clones of each other is because they have all that color and like variation and they have like the dramatically different hair shapes and things like that. You know what I mean? And so
God.
like if you have a lot of like very and obviously it does get a little weird whenever it's like okay why do like the main six characters look identical when you have shown us that other ponies in this world can have dramatically different appearances. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's besides the point. But like I'm saying is that I don't fully agree with the sentiment that you have to have super dramatically different face shapes all the time. I think it helps a lot and it's always like a good thing to learn how to do, but I don't think it's necessarily like you can work around it. You know what I
Because
mean?
that's yeah, exactly, and that's something else you
And
want,
some
especially.
styles work fine with it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like and then there, you come down to like the subtle thing because when you're drawing realistic faces, the reality is some people just have similar looking faces. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And the
Like if
same goes for
some
body
people
types. You know, when you think of a thin lanky person, 8 people are going to think of a different kind of body type for that. Because everybody's
Mhm.
definition of like thin and lanky or fat and chunky are very different. A good example, Morgan recently sent me a crack character he made where he like described the character out as like, oh, he a thickums. And then so in my brain, before you sent the picture, I was like, oh, he's fat. How cute. And then I saw the picture and I was like, that is not what I thought in my head.
my god, what did you think?
I thought he was fat.
Oh my god, I said thick. I didn't
I
say
know, I know, I know you said thick, but that's what I'm saying. My brain went like, oh, he chunky. So he got like a little bit of tum going on, but he chunky. He not thickums. My
yeah.
version of it anyway.
Well, it's like, listen, it's just, it's always a good thing to practice, but it's also like, if you really look at real people, there are just some times where some people in the world just look similar. Like, you
Mhm.
have, like, there's stories all the time of people being like walking down the street and, you know, like, oh, I found my look-alike today. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
it's not always a bad thing if two characters look similar, so long as like you can still visually tell them apart, and so long as that like that appearance kind of fits what they have going for them, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it's a very like context like a a contextual thing, and I don't think, and again I did that's something I want to talk about because I just don't feel like a lot of enough people address that it doesn't always have to be super dramatic, and you can have subtle variation without it being like, oh, this character's face is 8 meters long and this one has like a super wide ass head. Like I don't you don't always need that, you
Oh
know what
yeah,
I mean?
because another thing too is sometimes like because I will see some like character lineups by people who are like into that, and it does not like, and it'll be for like a similar project, and I look at the lineup and I'm like, these people do not look like they're a part of the same project. Like there's too much variation going on.
Yeah, it just like there's a line, and it always depends on like what you're going for, what your art style is, what kind of characters and story you're dealing with, and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just that's the thing that I
Yeah.
just it makes me
So
it.
one thing
Bleh.
on this topic though, so to get a little controversial here. So
Yeah.
smacking ASMR. um so I'm not going to talk about the Has Been Hotel drama. I'm just going to say that right now because people have been messaging about me about it like all the time. I'm not going to talk about it. But I did see something on Twitter that I thought was funny because I don't know how this person watched the pilot. I don't even know who it is, so I'm not outing anybody. But somebody was like, "Wow, I like that there's no fat people in Has Been Hotel." And I was like, did we watch the same pilot? Like there are literally people who are TVs
This
and like
a
gator
little bit.
people and like what I thought it was so funny because I saw that comment and I literally we watched the pilot and I was like what I literally like went like what
It's
like what
just
was this person talking about.
it's like, oh yes, my sense of realism has been destroyed because there are no like morbidly obese people in hell,
Yeah,
as
but
far
like
as we've seen from a 30-minute pilot.
yeah, which I mean,
Fuck you.
you see that in the pilot. I mean, they don't talk, but like, there's literally again, there's the TV guy, there's the Gator guy, there's fucking Serpentious, which I love him.
I love
I love him so much.
Serpentious. He's like everything I could have hoped for.
I know. You know what's so
Anyway,
funny though? It's really random. Cause
oh
I
my god,
actually I want to
how?
talk about the pilot like in a video. I just don't know when because I don't want to talk about the drama and I'm not going to talk about the drama in it. But my idea for a picture, because I want to do a picture that has to do with it, is I really want to do Alistair and Ringmaster switching outfits because I think it's just
Oh
funny.
lord.
Because they're both,
Oh,
they're both edgy monochromatic redheads.
have fun. Have a party. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I just
it's dumb. If you didn't know there's drama, don't look into it. It's literally dumb.
hmm I've just chosen to go about my day, you know?
Yeah.
It's gotta
So
some.
there's a bunch
I
of
mean,
videos
that's
on it. You can go ahead, click. So again, I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to support that kind of stuff. I just think it's dumb. But
anyway, but I mean that's a different kind of discussion, is the idea of like, because I mean I do definitely think there are some stories or whatever where I'm sitting here of like, why is this character like the skinniest, most like epitome of health that you've ever looked at, you know what I mean?
oh yeah,
Uh just, it's like even then it's not
it's like it
that
sounds
deep.
weird to say this, but I can't think of it any other way. But it's like I heard it once described as like, oh look, it's the '90s Burger King commercial where you have a kid from every ethnicity and a kid who's disabled and a fat kid all together in peace and harmony talking together. It just seems weird. It seems like you had to check a box instead of these are just
It does
kids.
times.
And like a lot, I feel like a lot of shows now are getting more diverse characters and body types and relationships and shit like that, and that's something I'm very grateful for. But in the same vein, I don't know, I don't like people when they make, this is just a me thing, but when I see people who like have certain body typed characters and then they're like, oh yeah, see this really, really fat character? They can run a 7-minute mile. And I'm like,
Yeah, just like
I'm,
a
I'm,
little bit, no.
I'm like,
Just
I mean, I'm sure they can run. Again, I'm a fat ass. I can run. I can't do a 7-minute mile.
yeah, it's like
Like,
well, it's also there's like so much context to like body types and stuff like that that I don't think people realize, especially because the media has kind of tainted our image of like how bodies do kind of ow, I just stabbed myself in the eye socket. Anyway, uh like for example, the idea that like the big one I think that it is this idea that like for example that like the superhero men you see in movies with these toned beautiful abs and stuff like that are like the epitome of strength, when in real life there's a reason why the people who do weightlifting competitions don't look like bodybuilders.
yeah. Another thing too is like I love and hate seeing those Hemsworth like bodybuilding ads because like he talks about, he's like, I had to train with like these 18 professionals, and I'm like, see right there, that's how you get that body type. You got to do some really crazy shit. You can't just like, I'm just gonna go to the gym and lift weights.
Yeah, it's like it's so like there's a lot to be learned, but even then at the end of the day I don't yes, it is possible. Like it's 100% possible, and it is 100% normal
Mm-hmm.
for somebody to be like to like be born at a point where it's just like their whole life it's just their average and their normal like weight is going to be something that would generally be considered like quote unquote overweight or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Like,
that stuff exists and that stuff is fine, and I think that like we've as a society we don't understand like for example a really big one that's really sad is this idea that like so many people see like a stomach sticking out and think that means fat or pregnant when it doesn't,
yeah.
and like it's like one of the most normal features on it, like one of the most normal curves on a human body, like
Mm-hmm.
regardless of your weight. And it's like but because we have this weird idea that like tummy equals fat, like
Mm-hmm.
it's just
Well, no,
it's
like, okay,
unfortunate.
on that, right? So, I also, so this is something I've done personally because I also feel like, again, as a fat person, obviously, fat people are unhealthy. You can do things to change that. I'm doing things to change that. But in the same vein, I knew and I know a lot of really skinny people who are also just as unhealthy. They can't run a mile without getting winded. And so that's why, for my own sake, two of my characters, Zephyr and Sam, I made very different body types, but I made it so they're both really unhealthy for very similar reasons. Samantha is very tall and skinny. I mean, she's got big boobs, but I kind of kept that, and it's kind of hard for me to see her flat. It's a weird character thing. Realistically, she'd probably be flat as a washboard, but I'm like, you had big titties for so long. I'm just gonna keep that. You're just top heavy. It's fine. And then my character Zephyr, I'm finally been able to get to a skill level where I can draw her. It sounds bad. I'm like, I could finally draw you fat enough. Because every time I tried drawing her, I could never get her the weight I wanted. But they're both in a time, and they're both really powerful mages that they never really had to walk around. They never really had to, like, do a lot of things that weren't with their magic. So when both of their stories happen and why they're both really good friends, I should say Sam's not anorexic or anything. She's just really skinny. They're both underweight. A good example is like there's a point in Sam's story. This isn't a spoiler or anything, but she tries to run away from a certain character, and she's so scared she can't focus to use her magic, and she doesn't get far without getting winded and ending up throwing up. Because I've literally seen that happen. I had a friend in high school who was severely underweight, and it's just how she was. And I remember we did a mile, and she just threw up, and we were all really worried. And she didn't even get as far as I did. And while I wasn't as big as I am now, I was still the fat friend. So I remember being like so surprised that someone who was so skinny could be just as unhealthy as I
the
was.
the moral of this discussion is don't just base your interpretation on health on like what other people are saying. Go talk to a doctor. Like,
Exactly.
a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
Uh and it's like but I will say this though, is that the one thing that does drive me insane is that the counter to this is, rather than just like trying to have a better scientific understanding of health, we're now trying to push the idea that people can just be born like 400 pounds overweight and be healthy, which is not true. You know,
Yeah, yeah. Another
just
thing
so
too is I see a lot of
there's a line where it gets to be where like, and again, there are exceptions. Like there is a woman who exists out there in the world, and there's a condition that exists where like people can be like have absolutely no muscle or fat mass because their body can't hold it. They
mhm.
have to do very specific stuff to, stay alive, but it's like it's not, that should exist and those people can still live their life. But again, that's goes back to the health thing, not without doing very specific things and having very specific diets and things. Like I
Oh
think that
yeah.
woman, like she has to eat like every 15 minutes or something like that
Mhm.
because she can't hold on to that stuff,
Yeah, no,
you
like
know.
I recently found out that like hyperthyroidism runs in my family, right? So
Hmm.
because of that, yeah, it's harder for me to lose weight. It's not impossible and it's not an excuse, but I see a lot of people who like without going to a doctor, they're like, "Oh, I'm so and so. It must be XYZ. So I'm just going to keep living my life because it's not my fault." It's like, "No, if you actually have XYZ and you go to a doctor and get checked, then they'll normally tell you like, "Hey, change your diet, change your health plan, do this and that." Like there are ways to
Hmm.
do it and be healthy. And I think that's just the bottom line with a lot of things now is like we're getting to this point where it's like, yeah, acceptance is great. I'm happy seeing other body types, but bottom line is we should be teaching people to be healthier. That is something I kind of wish that I grew up with. Was my mom was a
Yeah.
reverse health nut, so she was like the extreme of it, which is why me and my brothers kind of like went crazy when we were able to get alone. We were like, "Oh my god, I can just buy a cheeseburger whenever I want now."
Oh my lord.
And it's
Yeah.
terrible, but that's
Well,
it's the
moral of the story, there's people on both sides that are just stupid and have no idea how the human body works.
Oh, exactly, exactly. Sorry for that long tangent about that.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead
I was gonna say you gotta go,
and
right?
skedaddle.
All right, you go enjoy your game jam.
So yeah, I mean, I got like I can stretch this out for like a couple more minutes, but I should probably just go before we get into something where it's like I don't want to leave. But
Okay, well, I mean that's true. Well, I mean, do you guys have like a lightning round question you want to ask for Morgan while he's here?
it's gonna take a second for the stream to catch up.
Oh, that's right. Never mind
So
then. All right,
yeah, I'll go ahead and skadoots.
all
But
right. Love you, Morgan.
I'll still probably be chatting with you. I just can't chat on my iPad. So
No, that's fine. Don't feel bad. All right, go have fun. Go make your
bye
game.
guys. I'm off to suffer and probably not sleep for 2 days. Anyway,
I mean,
goodbye.
it's fine. What else is artist life? Bleh.
What? We were just talking about health? What are you talking about?
All
I don't know. What the fuck is that?
right. Go suffer. But yeah, so now that that tangent is done, are there any other questions you guys have for me or anything you want to talk about? I'm probably going to go for another 30 minutes to an hour. I like my streams to be right around 2 hours. I mean, I'm still here, so he just had to yeet. Will you be seeing Frozen 2? Yeah, we answered that earlier. I'm gonna be seeing it when it comes out. There's actually a lot of things I see right now. I'm super excited. I hopefully am gonna see Doctor Sleep this weekend, but realistically, I'm probably gonna end up seeing it on Monday. But I really want to see Doctor Sleep. And then, are you still opening for commissions? Yes. I don't have much of a choice. I'm patrons, I'm already up. If you're a patron, you can snag a spot. Just message me on Patreon. But I'm gonna be opening to the public for limited slots on DeviantArt in about 2 days. So if you guys are interested, please go follow me there. They are limited. They are also under very strict rules because my queue is not done. So you have to be warned, this current batch of commissions, this isn't something I wanted. I guess I'll just do an update here while I'm here. I didn't exactly want to, well, that's not true. I wanted to open in November, but I wanted to open in later November. I had a lot of things planned out how I wanted them to go. And that didn't happen, and life got very hectic, and I was informed, I can't say last minute because it was told before the month, but I was told pretty much that at the end of this month, which is my birthday month, if you guys want to, but this isn't me like begging or asking, but I know people have asked in the past, if you want to get me something for my birthday or Cody, I do have my Amazon wish list in my bio for here and in my other videos. I only have that because I don't have a P.O. box, because I know people have wanted to like send me stuff. We're looking into a P.O. box, but realistically, it's probably going to happen next year. But anyway, I was informed very last minute that I'm going to be going on a 5-day road trip at the end of the month. And because of that, well, I now have to make up funds because pretty much while we are gone, I'm going, our rent is going to be due and bills are going to be due. And it's just like, oh, joy. Joy stress. But yeah, so because of that, I will be opening for limited slots that are going to be on the back burner. So you have to be okay with waiting for your commission because I'm trying to get through my current queue. So let's see. Hopefully that's enough there. Again, I made a very long journal explaining everything in detail on DeviantArt. If you guys want to check it out, it should be in my Linktree bio so you can see it there. Let's see. Hold on, I'm still reading. Oh, what if I see mac and cheese lady? Let's see. Your thoughts on Joker? I loved it. I thought it was great. I don't think of it though as like a masterpiece. So I liked it. I think the media hyped it up way too much. I think if you are a fan of psychological horrors, because it is a psychological horror and not a thriller, there's a big difference, then I would totally say check it out. I've been working on some fan art for you lately. I'm super excited to share with you. I already did one, the Pixel Doodle Tattoo. I hope you like the finished product. Oh, well, yay! I'll be excited to see it. Just make sure to tag me in it so I can see it. My favorite meme. I am a stupid sucker for the shocked Pikachu meme. I just love it. It describes so much of my life. Let's see. Weird question. Do you write short stories? I do actually. I just never published any or like wrote any like out type wise. So I did do that. I am working on a tiny anthology with a couple friends of mine, but it's not going to be out till next year. So obviously when we get that off the ground, I'll talk more about that then. But yeah. How do you develop your world and make it sound so good? I have all the details, just how. Honestly, Calico Frost, years. It took years, and me reading a lot of books, and me getting into a lot of fantasies, and it was taking points where I ended up realizing that, like, I had a very basic idea of what I wanted, and I slowly expanded on that, but it wasn't until I was able to really, like, get into other worlds and other stories and really notice things that I hadn't exactly noticed before. There were a lot of things that I noticed about, same with video game, like, lore and everything. I really started soaking it all in just as time went on and absorbing more stories. And I was able to see certain things that I didn't exactly see in, like, my own works, and I put that in there, and I went with fixing things to make it feel more realistic. But I think a very basic example, another thing too, I know a lot of people have problems with, and I'm no saint, is when writing dialogue for characters to make them seem realistic, try actually saying what the character is saying out loud. Don't say it in your head, like say it out loud as if you are having a conversation with somebody, and really think if that's how the character would talk and or a person would talk. I can't tell you how many stories I've read where I'm like, people don't talk like this. This is a character written in a story. This is not a person. So that's another good advice that I have. Let's see. Let's see. I love Joker. Great movie. Let's see. Have you seen They Groove in Me? I have not seen it. I need to see it around it. How far are you in Skyrim? Tell us about your character on there if you want to. What guilds are you a part of? Oh, okay. I wasn't expecting that question. But yeah, I've recently been playing Skyrim again for like the bazillionth time because I got it for my Switch as a birthday gift last year, I think. It was their last year or the year before that I got it. And I've been playing it like crazy, and I only recently stopped because my neighbor let me borrow let me borrow Link's Awakening, and I haven't been able to play it yet, and I'm going to play it tonight, and I'm very excited after I do a lot of work. But my character in Skyrim is a dark elf potion maker, pretty much. And I'm not a part of any guilds yet, but I'm currently doing the Dragonborn DLC. At least I was before I stopped. And I finally maxed out my potion tree, and oh my god, do I feel like such an idiot for all the other games I played for not getting into potions and the herb making. Because I would like make the basic ones, but I really did not realize how like badass you can be with a potion maker. Let's see. Are you into Christmas and getting into the Christmas spirit? Yes, I am. I'm actually really into it. The only thing is my husband, not so much. He's very much a believer in Christmas happens after Thanksgiving, and I'm a believer in like you give Halloween like a week to settle and then you decorate. So I'm very excited for the holidays. I love the holidays, but I don't exactly celebrate Christmas. Seeing as I am a witch and or pagan myself, I like celebrating Yule, but I do like the Christmas time and the spirit and the energy and the family and togetherness and the decorations and the sweets. God, does this fat bitch love those sweets. But yeah, so I'm really excited. And I have plans. I do have plans for this channel for December. So I'm going to have my normal weekly upload, obviously, but I'm going to try to do towards the end closer to Christmas, try to do like a week full of videos. Hopefully that pans out. I've already got a couple things thumbed out and sketched out for ideas and a couple things that I genuinely want to do. So hopefully that'll be a good time. Hello. Also, what's your favorite color scheme? Leah, I will answer that in a moment. I am so sorry, guys. I have to use the bathroom. I will be right back. I promise, I will be right back. All right, guys. So sorry about that. Go away, iCloud. Sorry about that, guys. I just really had to go to the bathroom. Ooh. Yeah, I guess my coffee from this morning finally decided to run through me. I know, it's terrible, and you should go to the bathroom before you stream, but I didn't have to stream when I got home, so. Oh. Mm. Oh, you're so lucky. We don't get really, like, fall here. And we kind of do, but it's not the same, like, as you see in movies and stuff, and that's something I've always been jealous about. Let's see. What time zone? It is currently 4:24 for me right now. Let's see. Is there any holidays in any of your stories? If so, are they similar to ours or other countries? Yeah, actually, quite a few. So in Ticks and Turns, they pretty much celebrate the same holidays we do, just because it was easier. Ticks and Turns is my steampunk vampire story that takes place in an alternate universe Earth, where in the Victorian era, vampires took over, and now it is modern day with a steampunk twist with, obviously, vampires. But yeah, so because it was in the Victorian age, they celebrate Christmas, they celebrate Halloween, they celebrate all things like that, just in different senses. So for very obvious reasons, the vampires, when they celebrate Halloween, they still do it at night because they can't exactly go out during the daytime. But they do tend to have more like day parties instead of like a night party. So that's often a thing they'll do. So what's your favorite YouTuber? I don't have a single one. I have a lot of YouTubers I follow, but back to the holiday thing. In Marked, there are a lot of holidays that I'll have to like look through my notebook that I wrote out. But they have a winter holiday. They have a harvest holiday. They have a Day of the Dead kind of holiday. They also have like a summer festival. It also depends on the part of the world you're in. Obviously, how often do you stream on Twitch? I'm trying to stream more on Twitch. Definitely at least once a week, as long as my computer will handle it. But it's sad to say, with how messy my computer is, it isn't always reliable. So I try my best to shoot for Tuesdays. If not, Thursdays. And then if not a Thursday, then a Friday. But I try to definitely do it that way. On Twitch, though, I don't tend to mic. I mostly have music going while I focus on work. I know it's bad, but it's really, really hard for me to, like, talk and draw. And when I do, I'm a lot slower than when I normally just draw because I'm, like, multitasking. So it's easier for me to be active in the chat at that time, but not so much miking. Also, I don't webcam when I do Twitch, unless I'm doing, like, there's a reason to have a webcam. But the reason for that is because I'm mostly working or just looking at a screen, and I don't really have a cool setup where you can like see me and see me drawing. It's just I'll be looking at the top of my head while I end up working, so I think that's kind of boring. But back to the holiday question. It also depends on the culture, because there are also other mythical creatures that celebrate other holidays, like a couple of elves that have kept their culture. They celebrate different holidays than the mortals do. Mortals are humans, at least in my world, that's what they call them. They're easier to call them mortals and mortal beings, such as normal animals. And so that's a thing. A lot of the mythic creatures, like dragons and unicorns and stuff, they don't exactly celebrate holidays. They more so just celebrate the seasons and like birth and stuff like that. So there's that. I hope that's a good answer for that. Let's see. No, I actually haven't. I haven't checked out that YouTuber. I really should. What's your favorite color scheme? That's right. I was gonna answer it when I got back. Sorry. My favorite color scheme is black, gray, white, neon purple, and neon green. It's such a weird color combo, but those just stick out to me so much. And yeah, no problem, Magic Tech Realms. But I also tend to make like updates on like Twitter and Instagram and DeviantArt and sometimes for Affinity when I am streaming on Twitch, so it's easier to find me that way. It's why I always say to follow my social medias. I'm not just doing it to gain numbers. I'm doing it because it literally is a way to keep in contact. Because YouTube doesn't like doing it for you anymore. Warm versus cold. Cold, hands down. I would rather be cold because you can put on more layers. You can only get so naked when it's hot. And sometimes being naked is just as bad as being hot. Good night. Hope you have fun. Whew. Like, another thing, like when I was talking about health and body types and stuff earlier, trying to work out more, and I cannot work out when it's hot. I just can't. Like, going to the gym because of how hot my car gets, I can't. I literally get sick. Like, because I can't do a good workout. I'll try to do a good workout, and then I'm going out into heat, and then my car is hot, and then my car takes a while to put the air conditioning on, and then by the time it's actually kind of cool, I'm already home, so I'm back out in the heat, and like it actually made me really sick. So during the summer, I don't tend to work out, and if I do, I'll work out at night, so it's cooler. I also really enjoy going for walks and stuff, but yeah, let's see. Have you seen the Pokemon short? Have you seen the Pokemon Sword and Shield leaks? I saw a few of them, but I'm not holding my breath or drawing anything until the game actually comes out. I am a little disappointed. This is the first game I'm not going to be able to get at launch since Pokemon Black? Yeah. No, White. Since White, because I played White. But my finances are just not in the cards right now, so I'm gonna have to definitely get it with either like birthday money or Christmas money, and if not, just when I have the money to play it. So I'm gonna wait till the games come out. But when I do eventually get it, I'm gonna get Shield. There's like so many. God, there's so many games coming out right now. Like, I'm really lucky I was able to borrow my neighbor's copy of Link's Awakening because I really wanted to play that. I also couldn't get that. Death Stranding finally came out after a billion zillion years. Didn't get that. Luigi's Mansion, didn't get that. And I'm like, all these games I want and I don't have the money. But would I rather eat and pay my bills or get a video game? Eat and pay my bills any day. Lol, silence. Sorry, I didn't know what else to say. I meant cold and warm colors. Oh, warm colors actually. Like, I like working with warm colors and like artwork. Weird question, but how do you know if your bra doesn't fit properly? Um, so this is something that took me a long time to like understand. I don't think it's weird, but your boobs or breasts shouldn't be falling out of the bra, and you shouldn't be getting I like to call it soup titty, where they like come out the sides. The best way to have that fixed is to like go to a Forever 21. Even if they don't have your size, I learned this. If you go to Forever 21 and ask to get measured, they will have someone measure you and give you the proper dimensions of each breast and what size you should get. And when I finally did that, I was able to look for proper bras in my size that fit really well. And I haven't had that problem since. I do have it with a couple of bras that are falling apart because I've been using them so much, but It's the best thing to go. If you are a person or a being with breasts and you have issues with that, go get fitted. It's no problem at all. They don't charge you, and they're usually really friendly. But they will probably tell you if, you're a bigger bitch like me, they're probably not going to have your size in store, so just be prepared for that. Let's see. If a zombie apocalypse happened, where would you go and what would you get? I would trust my husband because he's the zombie expert and he's the only one I know that I could trust to keep us alive. So, have you read the Percy Jackson books? I have not. My little brothers have, and I have in fact seen both movies, which I know people think are trash, but I thought they were funny. I know they're not perfect, but I thought they were funny. Let's see. If someone were to if my tongue, if someone were to hypothetically draw you something for you, what would you like drawn? I actually am not picky. I love all kinds of fan art. So if you have an idea in mind, go ahead and draw it and then tag me in it. I'd love to see it. So I'm really weird when it comes to like asking people for stuff, especially if I don't have like a specific idea in mind. I'm just like, yeah, go to my toy house, which is just Twisted Disaster, and pick a character and draw it for me. If that's what you want. I'm not asking for fan art or anything. If you want to, that's where my character references are. Which a lot I need to be updated and posted, but it's still there. This is so interesting out of context. Let's see. No problem, Leah. But useful, I had problems with getting bras that fit. Yeah, I'm happy that helped. I know it's a weird one, but that does help. Let's see. Do you have any YouTubers you recommend watching? Anyone's content you've been really into lately? Sadly, there aren't a lot of art YouTubers. I even did a thing on Twitter trying to not call people out, blah, blah, blah. Trying to like be like, hey, does anybody know any good art YouTubers out there that do art topics and stuff that I don't already follow? And I went through a couple and they weren't really what I was looking for. I was kind of disappointed. So, by the way, if that was one of you, don't feel heartbroken. It's not you personally. It just wasn't what I was looking for. But pretty much, I really like the Nerd Soup podcast. I like listening to the Lords of the Night, but be warned, they are pretty right-leaning. I like listening to right-leaning and left-leaning podcasts. I think it's a good contrast to have, both in your system than just one. Another thing I like is I really like Smokey Glow's content. I think her stuff's really interesting. And I bought her Spooky Glow shirt, so I was really happy about that. Another one that I really like is I recently got into Spoctor and Ponder Sprocket, I think is how her thing is said. She did a shout out for me on one of her recent videos, and my friend told me about it, and I was like, what? And I went back and watched it. I thought it was very sweet. So I know Ponder's really good. I know Ponder doesn't make a lot of videos, but when she does, they're really long and really well informative. So those are people that I like. Let's see. Do you play D&D? I do. In fact, every other Saturday, hopefully, I do a D&D game with my friends on the Thezodiaclord's channel. You can watch it. There should be a playlist. His info, Morgan's info, should be in the description, so you guys can check out our podcast there. Be warned though, it is hella homebrew. But yeah, besides that, I haven't played D&D in a long time, but I did make my D&D pet peeves video. Because I used to play a lot. Why am I yawning? Sorry. I might have to end it soon if I keep yawning like this. Favorite book to movie? I have to think, because I've read a lot and seen a lot. What was one I like The Hunger Games. I mean, they changed a lot, but I like The Hunger Games. I liked Harry Potter, even though after the third one, it kind of just goes all over the place. But I liked Harry Potter. I liked The Hunger Games. I like Interview with a Vampire, both the book and the movie. Did not like Queen of the Damned. Ooh, that one was bad. Let's see. Oh, I really liked Murder on the Orient Express, the remake that came out a couple years ago, the most recent remake. I thought that was great. I thought that was really, really good to the book, too. Let's see. Would you have any tips for new D&D players who are bad at math and want homebrew? Honestly, and this isn't a sponsorship or thing, but my friends told me we don't use this because we use our homebrew is like 2 homebrew for this, but do check out D&D Beyond. They have amazing character sheets and easy fill out methods, and it's all right there, and it's free, and you can have it on your phone or your tablet or whatever. I found out about them from listening to Critical Role because I like Critical Role. I'm way behind though. I'm not anywhere near caught up with Critical Role. But I am on game 2, and I'm on episode, I believe, 17, maybe 18. Like I said, I got into it really late. But they talked about it all the time, and I checked it out, and they were not kidding. So, ooh, sorry for that snuffle. Let's see. But yeah, try D&D Beyond. That's really, really good. Let's see. Favorite guilty pleasure book or book series? Ooh, this one's very easy. So it is a literotica book, but oh my god, it's written so bad. It's one of my favorite series. It's Amazon only that I know of, and it's the Otherworld series. And it starts off with, I believe, like, it's called like Vampire's Kiss or something like that. And it's got like a half naked guy on the cover, but there's like a whole series. There's 2 in the vampire one, there's 2 in the werewolf one. Oh my god, though, the series is so fucking hilarious. I totally recommend it if that's your cup of tea. Like, the sexy bits were so bad, and I just laughed through it to the point when, like, the next book came out, I'm like, yeah, give me more. I need more of this trash. So, that's one I really like. Let's see. Oh, that's right. I should say our game. I wouldn't go so far as to say 18. Oh no, 18 plus is adult. Yeah, me and my friends, our D&D RP is a D&D game. So we curse, we say crass things. Our characters are crass. We do bad things. We recently murdered some people. So if that kind of stuff bothers you, don't check it out. But yeah, Leah is right. You know, it is at a an older demographic version. What's the last anime you watched? Actually, ironically enough, I ended up rewatching Inuyasha on Netflix. Like, I used to love that shit in high school, and I recently found it. Ironically, I found it on Halloween, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna watch this. I used to love it. I haven't watched it in a long time. Kind of forgot how metal Inuyasha was, but oh my god, did it not age well either. So it's like a good. I mean, Dot is. I know she is. Dot is Dot. Dot is a very complex being. But I also know that if you have Hulu, I think like all of them are on Hulu. They only have the first 2 seasons on Netflix. But I literally recently watched that, and then my friend is helping me make a Hulu account because that is what adults do. Adults have their own accounts for streaming systems, and they do not share them with friends because I would never recommend doing that to save money. And Hulu, that is not at all what I am doing so I can finish Inuyasha. That is not what is happening here. But as for my new anime that I've gotten into, we really like Demon Slayer. We like My Hero Academia, but those are both kind of wrapped up. I know My Hero's back, but we're waiting for a few more episodes to binge it because Cody and I like binging episodes in a time. But since I did get back into Inuyasha, I am working on Inuyasha merch that I'm going to have for Anime Impulse, and I will have in my store. I won't have charms, sadly, but I am going to have stickers because stickers are easy to make. And I'll eventually get vinyl ones up in the store, but right now I just have the basic sticker paper ones that I'm working on, so. Let's see. Inuyasha, give us a Shummer, that's all that matters. That is true. Let's see. Beastars. I should check that out. Do you watch American Horror Story? I used to. I did not watch Apocalypse. I really, pretty much the last season I really enjoyed was Roanoke. I didn't like the others past that. I thought Cult had potential, but they made it so political, and they took out the, like, to me, they took out the horror aspect and just turned it into a thriller. And it also came in a really bad time, in my opinion, because, like, I know there were episodes that came out that had to be, like, heavily censored because stuff had just happened. And it just sat really bad in my mouth, and I didn't like it since then. And I know there's been a season since Cult, but I don't think I watched it, and I know I didn't watch Apocalypse. I was excited for Apocalypse, and then my friends pretty much all told me that it was just Coven 2.0, and I loved Coven, but, like, not in a good way. And then I also know that with 1984, they, like, have almost none of the original cast, which sucks, because that was kind of the point of American Horror Story. It was like, it's the same cast of characters playing different people in different periods in time. And then they had to make it be all like, oh, it's all a shared universe. And I was kind of like, okay, I guess. So, but it's just too dated. Okay, yeah, so I'll probably check it out because I know it's on Netflix sometime, but I'm not into it like I once was. I'm also pissed off because they were supposed to originally do like an Area 51 one, and, like, it was supposed to be like Area 51, and I was super excited for that, and my friends were excited for that because they talked about the alien, like, subplot in Asylum, but it was just kind of there and then gone. And me and my friends were excited for that, and then they're like, oh no, we're doing Apocalypse. And we're like, okay, well then they're like, oh, and the next one's gonna be a period piece. And so we were all like, yeah, they're totally gonna do Area 51 like we wanted. And then it's like, no, you're getting 1984. And I'm just kind of like, I'm kind of sick of the 80s. I know it sounds bad, but the 80s nostalgia is so just being, like, hammered in right now that I'm kind of sick of it. Like, I also didn't like the new Stranger Things season. I loved Stranger Things season 1. I felt like season 2 was very much a we made a lot of money and we need to make a season 2. And so it was like, okay, it was cute. It wrapped up nicely. And then season 3 happened, and I was like, okay, I really don't like season 3. And then they're announced for season 4, and I'm like, please just let it end at season 4 so that way it ends and we're not worrying about it. But ooh, that's my issues. So let's see. Also, hi. Let's see. Have you seen Blue Exorcist? Yes, I have. I loved Blue Exorcist. I remember I was so happy when, I believe his name was Yukio, his brother, like, also got, like, the ears and a tail. I was like, yeah! I was like one of my biggest pet peeves, but I was so happy when that happened. Let's see. Let's see. What are your thoughts on the guy from My Hero with the hands over his face? I think he's really creepy. I mean, I think he's a good villain. I'm excited. Let's see. Thoughts on the Disney Plus streaming service? I think it's dumb. I was actually originally very excited for it, and now that I've heard that Disney is making it so the MCU movies have to be connected to the Disney Plus shows, and the Disney Plus shows are not coming out in the binging format that Netflix and Hulu and everybody else does, I'm not excited. I'm not getting it. I'm not gonna get it for a while because I'm gonna see how things go. But oh, sorry about that. I didn't mean to spoil it. I thought because it's an older show. I'm sorry. But yeah, Disney Plus. I think it could have had potential, but with the way things are going, I don't like it. I also am not a fan of HBO Max. I'm not a fan of the fact that they're like threatening to take things off of people's systems and take things off that people have already pre-purchased. I just don't think that's right. So I'm just gonna see how that goes. But for right now, I have Amazon, Netflix, and Hulu, so I'm pretty good there. And we have Crunchyroll, technically. Let's see. Ba, 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 ba. Am I the only one that thought Robin and Steve were gonna date? I did. They were setting it up that way, but I was happy they did make Robin a lesbian. Let's see. Ba, 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 ba. If you had an elemental power, what would you have? Ooh. Well, I would want a water power, but realistically, I'm a fire sign, so I'd probably have like some kind of fire power. Yeah, no, and it's going to be taking its stuff off of Netflix, and that's what like I'm worried about. They're also apparently they're saying, but they haven't proved it yet because it's not out yet. But they were also saying that like if you bought stuff on Amazon, like if you bought it on Amazon Digital, there's some rumors that they're gonna be gone and you're not gonna get refunded for it. So like even though you bought something, it might be taken off of your account, which I am not a fan for. And it's one of those things where they're not denying it, but they're not proving it either yet. So that's why I'm on the fence, and I'm not gonna get it until I see how things go. You burned down the horse cover. You're not wrong there. But you know what, guys? I think I'm gonna call it here. I'm getting a little tired. I know it's not even that late, but I just had an exhausting day. But I hope you guys had fun. I had fun. And if you didn't catch the beginning of this, I always keep my streams live on my channel for about a week or so after I stream, and then I put it in my live stream playlist. And so, excuse me. I hope you guys have a good day. I hope you have a great Friday, better than mine. And as always, guys, I will see you next time. Bye.